Hello, we are here with Dr. Scott Hainan, and we are talking all today about nanonutrients and a huge show that is going to be one you cannot miss on January 26th on TBN. We're going to get to the details in just a moment. But first, without further ado, Dr. Scott, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I'm no big deal. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who loves health and loves to try to get people healthy. I believe in staying healthy, and I try to lead people down the same road. And I'm pretty jazzed about this show. I don't mind telling you. And the reason why I'm so excited, it's not just because we're having a show or we're exposing nanonutrients, but we're about to introduce some people to a technology that they didn't even know existed, that is so far superior, in my opinion, to where we've been, that it can get people down the road a lot faster in their quest for health.
Well, and so this show, let's talk about, just right off the top, when it's going to air and when people can tune in.
Yes, so it'll air on January 26th on the Trinity Broadcast Network, and it's on prime time coast to coast. So we'll call it 7 o'clock Central Time and CST. And it will air again. It's either 2 or 3 hours later. It actually airs again. Then it airs the next day. And you can look on TBN's website or even go to drhainan.com. And we have a schedule of the different airings of the shows. But this show will continue to air, over and over and over many times because of the information it's containing and because we're really trying to reach people with this message.
So let's talk today about the difference, just kind of a high level of the difference in the three different nanonutrients products that we're going to be talking about. And I think it's interesting because you think, well, you hear nano essentials, you're like, oh, doesn't that have everything? So let's talk about what nano essentials is and why it's just one part of a three-part series.
Sure. Well, there's a misconception, I believe, about supplementation. Supplementation is just what it's called. It's a supplement. It's not your main course. You're supposed to get your nutrients through your food. But let's face it, we all have realized our food sources aren't what they need to be. They're pretty depleted, right? So they need help. They need additional support, thus the term supplementation. We're going to supplement you. Now, the challenge has always been to get nutrients into the body, but we have to go through many times the sickest part of our body, which is our gut. Because people's guts are inflamed, they've got irritations, they've got mucus buildups. We could sit here all day talking about the reasons why people don't absorb their nutrients. So most of the time they're eating $10 worth of nutrition and maybe getting 10 cents worth into their body. Why? Because by the time they break those huge particles down into small enough particles to go into the cell, their bodies aren't capable of doing it. So therefore they just pass through the system. I've heard people say it's expensive urine, however you want to say it. Right? So the best way is to get that particle to its smallest portion. If you can get it to the smallest component of a particle, it easily flows in and out of the cell. So the smallest is a nano right now. You're looking at a red blood cell, and that's microscopic. That's about probably 5 to 8 microns. Well, a nanonutrient is about 1,000 times smaller than that. So if you can imagine, it passes through membranes. So it doesn't have to go through all the digestive. It's passing through the oral buccal mucosa, through the sublingual routes, through membranes. It's passing, and so it's so easily absorbed into the system that it goes right into the cells, and it's like right now kind of stuff. So why is that important? Because then you're getting nearly 100% absorption. So your cells are actually getting the extra nutrients that you need that you're not getting from your food. So you're getting full supplementation. It's not rocket science. You can take a plant, and if you take one plant and you fertilize it, and then you don't fertilize the other plant, the one that's fertilized flourishes, and it looks like sometimes a completely different plant compared to the other one. Why? Because you supplemented that plant. So in the human body, we have to have, they're called vitamins. The word comes from little amine groups called vital amines, thus the term vitamin, later coined by Casimir Funk. But these vital nutrients, you have to have them to live. So if you want to live a little bit better, then you better have enough in your diet to make sure that you can have the highest quality of life. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get these vital nutrients into the system. Then there's minerals, trace minerals. You have to have those as catalysts, because without those, you can't even make energy the right way in your body. You can't repair your tissues like collagen tissues, hair, nails, skin, bones, tendons, ligaments. You have to have minerals in so many functions in your body, especially your detox functions. So, we have the multivitamins, multiminerals, and trace minerals, and they're all put together in the nano form. So when you spray them in their mouth, man, it's instant absorption, just as the moment you spray them in your mouth.
And so if you were to just take the nano essentials, what are you missing out if you're not taking nano energy or nano influx?
Okay, so that's your supplementation, and that's covering your daily basis. But most people that I know, at least the people I hang around with, we're pretty active. Okay, I mean, I just a few minutes ago, I just got off the tennis course for a 3-hour tennis clinic, and we're playing high level, so it's sprint, sprint, sprint. Yesterday I'm in gym. I don't take breaks at the gym. We worked to full exhaustion for over an hour and a half. So we're pushing our bodies. People push their bodies. Some people do it through work, stress, whatever. But people are pushing their bodies. Well, you can't just get by with just the norm. So there's other things that your body needs because you're depleting them so severely. Like example, our energy nutrient. How many people suffered with COVID? Well, COVID was a major stressor in some of the nutrients that it knocks out of the system. It destroyed the mitochondrial pools, the little energy makers in the cells. So if you don't repair those energy makers, you're just going to feel fatigued, and that's why we're calling it long haul COVID, because people can't get their energy back. They just don't feel like they did before they got sick. Well, guess what? When you take things like that's in our energy, our nano energy, those nutrients have been proven by science. If you read each individual nutrient there, and you read the research on the nutrients that they put into these studies, they actually rebuild the mitochondrial pools. They recharge them. They restart them. So you're not giving false energy like caffeine. You're rebuilding the energy systems. So if you put those nutrients in, they're highly absorbable. They go into those cells where the little power plants are and start reviving them. It's not rocket science. The body starts to respond, and the body starts to have more energy. Therefore, it can heal faster. It can do things better. It can make you think clearer. It can make your skin, hair, and nails all look younger. Why? Because it now can utilize through your metabolism. It speeds it up. But I don't even like to say speed it up. It regulates it up to where it should be. So now all of the tissues can heal themselves with the nutrients that you're providing. So see, one helps the other. We help the energy systems, and we give it the nutrients. Now it has enough energy to use those nutrients to get the job done. On the influx, real quick, people are inflamed. Let's face it, all the way from the foods we're eating, the toxins we're around. When influx, the 5 compounds there, you can read them, you can research them for yourself. You'll see there's some of the best, the most powerful compounds we know that will actually help the shows, reduces inflammation and the oxidation, which oxidation is another word for rust. You don't want to rust out. And so it helps the tissues from being damaged and recovering from damage. So you're protecting, and we call that aging, by the way. When we talk about oxidation, that's another word for aging. So when you help the body to age slower, to oxidize slower, get rid of the inflammation, you move better, you feel better, you are better, and then you're replenishing with all the nutrients to make sure that your tissues all have what it needs, and then you rebuild the energy systems. Now the rate of repair exceeds the rate of damage, and man, we call that healing. So now time's working for you, not against you. And it's just sometimes it's really kind of fun to watch people. It's like watching that plant on fertilizer, just to watch people flourish when they take these 3 combinations.
Well, and I'm sure it perks people's ears up when you hear something like, "Oh, that oxidate, that's aging." That's and no one wants to hear about aging, even though the latter is not good, right? You definitely want to continue to get older, but you want to age the right way.
Well, they're piling all this stuff on the outside. They're trying to put these creams and these things and all these injections and all. I mean, that's all fine if you're into that, but aging comes from the inside out. So what you want to do is put stuff on the inside first to get the tissues healthy. Then if you want to do some of that other stuff, great. But get the inside healthy first, because that's really true aging.
All right. So remind people before we head out, since we're keeping these quick 10-minute programs today, where and when they can watch your big show. And I know that, you're going to be humble about it, but it is a big deal. It's pretty exciting. And so I just want to remind people before we head out.
Yeah. So it's January 26th actually it's this month. and it'll be 7 o'clock Central Time on the Trinity Broadcast Network, TBN. It is a worldwide broadcast, over 80 nations around the world, and it is in a prime time slot. So love to see everybody there watching it. You're going to learn some things I'll guarantee you didn't know, and I think you're going to be as impressed as I was when I present some of the research and I start explaining this and really breaking it down where you can get it.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Scott Hainan. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it, Kara. Thanks.